us on our Facebook Live conversation that we're having today. The topic that we're going to talk about today is America. We have a lot at stake right now in the United States of America. Many of you have seen the video that I did on yesterday when my husband and I was out and we went into going through IKEA's parking lot and ran into a rally that caught myself and my husband by surprise. I put it on Facebook Live because I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And it really prompted um, this town hall discussion that we're having today about what we have at stake, the leaders that are in place, what is going on in America, how do we fix it? Tomorrow is election day, so there is so much at stake right now. And I'm so fortunate. We're blessed to have some of the community leaders, United state representatives joining us, people right on the front line joining us today to discuss what we can do, what we can expect, what's going on front in the front of what we see. And then I also want to get down with what we do not see. Um, we're all in this together, and I want you to take a moment and to just share this video for me so that we can get this information out. Tomorrow, we must get out and vote. There are no excuses, no excuses for sitting home tomorrow. I have our first guest that is going to come on, and she is going to talk about the process of the registering. And don't worry if you did not register yet. There's still some hope for us that did not register yet. Well, I'm registered, but there's still hope if you didn't register yet. Please take a moment, share this video, and we're going to get started. We're excited to have our first guest with us, Registrar Chanel Evans. She has been the registrar since 2016, but she's not a newbie. She's been around in the political arena since I believe 2013. I'm going to bring her on. Everyone say hello to Registrar Chanel Evans as she comes. There you are. Hey,
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm getting there. Just getting ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, I know you are busy. We are talking to the a woman who is on the front line of the registration process. Chanel, for those that do not know who you are, just explain a little bit who you are, what you do as it relates to this election. I know you got to get up be in your office at 3 a.m. in the morning. But if you could just share a little bit about what you do in as the role as the registrar.
Yes, ma'am. First off, I do want to say thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it, and I appreciate the work that you're doing as well to spread the word and everything else. So for those who do not know, as she stated, I am Chanel Evans. I am Democrat Registrar for the City of New Haven. I've been dabbling politics, or I want to say that I've been working in community since I was young. And I became deputy in 2013 and became registrar in 2015. So a little bit of what my role, we are elected position every 4 years with the president. A lot of people don't know that. Um, Anything registering, we go out to high schools, make sure that they register. We also give them the opportunity to get community service as well as getting paid. Who don't like to get paid to work at the polls. Um, so anything regarding registration, polling places, um, cleaning up our list that we have to do by state statute that we're mandated to do, and trying to run smooth elections. Anything election related, that's us.
All right, so we are talking to the woman who is hoping and making sure that we have a smooth election. I know we had absentee ballots. That's a big thing this year. How did that process go? How is it going?
So what's weird is absentee ballot does not come through our office until
Oh,
election day. Yes.
Okay,
So I
got it.
know that the state also had our number and our office on the website. That is not true. It's the town clerk office.
Yes.
So I want
And
to get that
we'll
out there. Sorry, go ahead.
we're having a town clerk. He'll be on too to talk a little bit more. Yeah, so it's
Great.
fine. Hmm.
Yep. That's perfect. So
Oh,
if you need to look up application statuses and all that, Mike will tell you what you need to do for that. As Miss Dr. Howard was saying, um, if you did not make the deadline by the 27th, you also can do EDR, also known as election registration, BKA same day registration.
okay, so make sure I understand this. So you're telling me, and I want all of the listeners to hear me well. You're saying that even if you did not register yet, if you have a 18-year-old at home that didn't register yet,
Yes,
or
ma'am.
and you can still register. It's not too late, and then you'll give us the process of what we have to do. You can go ahead and share that, please.
Yes, ma'am. So, no, it is not too late. You can come down to City Hall, which is 165 Church Street, downtown New Haven.
Hmm.
We'll have 20 stations where they register you, and you'll go across the hall to actually vote. Later, when you go to other elections, say next year, obviously, you'll have your polling place, so you won't come to City Hall. It's just a one-time thing for you to get registered. You need to bring ID, meaning something that shows proof of your residency of where you are, telling us where you live. Um, that's pretty much it. Just bring your ID, you get registered there, you get your ballot, and go on about your way. It's from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Now, there's people who are watching from different states across the United States. So, what we're going to say to you is you to contact, should it be their registrar and for their specific town to find out their process, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All
Yes,
right,
ma'am.
great. Great. And I know this to be true. I actually will be up at 6 a.m. with my younger son, and we will be registering him and voting with him for the first time tomorrow morning as well. So, yeah. All
Right.
right. Chanel, I know you've been very, very busy. We appreciate all the work that you do to make this election a smooth election, being on the front line. I know you understand the power of voting. What would you say is why we must get out and vote, and what would you think? Why would you say we must get out and vote? Like, what's the push? What's the urgency? What are you thinking?
So some of the things that I say kind of depends on what their belief is, why they don't get out to vote. But my main thing is your future. Again, as you're saying, a lot of things are at stake. The way things are going, your future is at stake. So don't start when it gets worse and worse and worse. Start the process from the beginning and keep going and keep pushing and don't give up. That's
Mhm.
one thing. And then I can also, my ancestors fought for this. So
Mhm.
I don't want their work to go in vain.
That's
So
true.
those are the two main things I can say right there.
That's
And
good.
I also encourage people not to just show up on presidential elections. You need
Hmm.
to also go out during your co-chairs, your alders, and again, like you have State Senator Garrett who will be joining, and
Hmm.
again, their position, they're out there fighting for us in your community. So you need to make sure that you get out to vote every election, not just the big elections, what we consider big.
Yes. Thank you so much, Registrar Chanel. Thank you for your
No
time.
problem. Thank
And
you.
everyone, we got it. It's not too late. You need to call your registrar for your state, your local area, and you are to go. You can be able to. You got to check with them, but most likely you're able to go and be registered the day that you vote, which is tomorrow. And what's the acronym that you just said it was, registrar?
EDR, Election Day Registration.
EDR, Election Day Registration.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your
No
time. We're gonna let you get your beauty sleep because I know tomorrow's gonna be a busy one. Hopefully you got your clothes laid out already, like old school, getting ready for school, ready to go.
I do also want to bring this up as well. If you search for your name and do not see your name on the website, is locate your polling location. please call our office because some people, if you haven't voted in a while, you become inactive. Inactive doesn't mean that you go to EDR. EDR are strictly just for new people registering to vote in New Haven. New to New Haven registering to vote.
Mhm.
Not for those who are inactive. You have a polling location if you're inactive. If you're inactive, you will not show up on the state website searching for yourself. So if you're unsure and you know you have voted in the past, please contact my office. We're here at 3:30 in the morning to approximately 3 o'clock the next morning. But again, between the hours of at least 5 o'clock to 7:30. Just give our office a call, 203-946-8035, just to confirm that you have a polling place instead of you standing in line at EDR, because you will not be able to at EDR.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that information. And that same information goes to whatever state or town that you are in. Thank you so much. Let's give Chanel some love. Let's let her get her beauty sleep. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a great one too, Chanel. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. We have Senator Gary Winfield here, and we also, before we bring him on, we do have another special guest here. We have the city clerk, and that's none other than Mr. Michael Smart, and we are about to bring him on. He has been working tirelessly. I had the pleasure of working with him years ago when we were out going for his election. We knocked down doors together, and we canvassed together. So I know that this is a wonderful guy. He's done a lot of work over the years. I'm going to bring on the town clerk, Michael Smart. So, Michael, you coming on? There you go. Hey,
How are you? Fine, I'm good.
how are you? Your volume's a little different. Mike, I don't know what's going on with the volume. Mike, it's echoing.
How was that? That better?
I hear you, but you sound like me, Michael. You sound like a girl.
Oh, I was how was that?
Nope.
What are we doing?
No, I don't know if the volume or what's going on.
I got you for that. I heard.
Try one more time.
All right.
So while he's doing his volume, you got it. While he's doing that, you have someone that can help you, Mike. I see
We're
you.
working out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the maybe you have two devices on. Maybe turn off one. You have two devices on. Okay. Let's try it again. Say something.
Run out.
No. We're gonna maybe let's go off and let's go off and then come back on. Okay. All right. You're gonna go off and come back on. Okay. All right. So we were just talking about his office, so we know that he has very valuable information that we want to make sure that we get to you as relates to tomorrow, what to expect on tomorrow, and what his office is doing. Um, so while we're waiting for him, I'm going to. I know when I start talking with Senator Gary is gonna get steamy. So trying to just kind of get some of these other must haves, get those taken care of. That's very important. All right. So once again, thank you for coming in. I want you to share this video. Make sure you share the video, share this video. Please invite people to our town hall meeting. We have Senator Gary Winfield. We also have other special guests coming. We have U.S. Representative Rosa DeLauro, who is coming as well. She has worked with President Obama. She has worked with this President 45. She is a phenomenal person. She's been in the community and working in government for years. So we have a U.S. representative here to talk more. We have some great questions for her as we talk about this election. Now, I want to know in the chat bar, how many people are already registered? How many people are already registered? If you're registered, say, I'm registered, I'm registered, I'm registered. We want to make sure that we have everyone registered, because we can sit here and we can complain and we can talk about what's at stake, but if we're not registered and we don't show up, like it amounts to, basically nothing. So I want to know who is ready to vote on tomorrow. Who is ready to vote on tomorrow? Go ahead, put it in the chat bar. Put it in the chat bar. All right. Tatisha said, I'm registered. Teresa says, I'm registered. Cherise Blue, Million Mindset Sister, said, I'm registered. All right, registered. Who else is registered out there? Let's see. Teresa says, I'm registered. Go ahead, Teresa. Tatisha Boss says, I'm registered. All right. Cherie Blue, Millionaire Mindset Sister, says, I'm registered. All right. Sharon McLean, another Millionaire Mindset Sister, says, I'm registered. Dolitha, Anna says, I'm registered. All right. Dolitha is registered. Yes. Yes. Jeanette Sykes. Yes, she's registered. All right. Sharon McLean says she voted already. That's what I'm talking about. All right. And C Matt says, I'm registered and I'm voted, and all right, and voting Biden Harris. All right. All right, so we're gonna go back um to the city clerk, Michael Smart. Let's try this again.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Well, it still sounds a little different.
Oh boy.
It sounds different, but listen, I think you have some very good information. I don't know if your volume's up too high or what's going on.
How's that? Better?
It sounds a little better, but it's still a little different.
Any better?
Mm,
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. We can hear you. It just, your voice is distorted. Well, what we can do is, because this information is so important, if you can just, we all understand that this is not your normal voice, right? But this is an important election. This is an important time, and you have very important information. So you are the city clerk, and we want to, we were talking earlier with the register of voters. If we turn it down, Michael, I think it's up too high. Just turn it all the way down, maybe. Really, really low.
All the way down.
Yeah, that's a little better. We're not hearing as much echoing.
Okay.
All right, that's a little better. So we know it's not your voice, but at least we can hear you.
Not my voice.
Just got a little frog in your throat. So like I was saying before, like I was saying before, Michael and I would go back. We canvassed together when he was going for this position. A man that is definitely passionate about the work that he's done and is doing. Has been in his office, has been doing a phenomenal job. And we want to thank you. I want to thank you for all the work that you're doing, especially during this time right now, during election time. I know you must be busy. Are you two getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Still live.
2 o'clock?
Probably 4.
4, okay. Got it. So really fast, and we'll let you go because I know you got a very early morning. The question that I have for you is, what, with your office, what are people, tell me a little bit about what your office does for people who do not know, and then what they can expect when they show up tomorrow.
So first of all, I want to say the difference between our office and the register of voters offices, the city clerk's office is responsible for all of the absentee ballots, which is
Absentee
playing a
ballots.
key role in this election. Traditionally, for presidential, I have a lot of horns behind me, so I think there's some folks, so if you hear that, I'm sorry. Um, 2016 election, about 5,000 folks voted absentee.
5,000 people
5,000
voted.
voted absentee.
Okay.
2020, we're up around 16,000 who requested absentees, and so far we have about 13,000 back. So obviously,
Okay, so make sure I'm clear. So last election, we had about 5,000 absentee ballots. This
2016,
one, we have about 16,000 absentee ballots, and right now we have 13,000 that actually came back.
that's correct.
Wow.
That's correct.
Wow.
So with COVID, the whole political climate, it's definitely a trendsetter, totally different, something that we didn't expect, but I think it gets us more in gear with, early voting. Eventually that could happen. But it
Mhm.
shows the interest of the voters in this election.
Awesome, awesome, good. Wow, that says a whole lot. So, and we have people who are watching from different states and different, not just locally, but for every state and every town, I would assume that those numbers will increase as well, like they are here. Now, when people go to vote tomorrow, what do they expect? Like, what should they expect? How is the process going to go with your COVID guidelines, things of that nature?
So, I mean, certainly I know the registered voters are doing a good job to make sure that all COVID-19 protocols are in place. Certainly when they're voting, I know that folks are gonna have folks sanitizing stations. They're gonna have folks have their own pens. They're gonna have the different polling places spaced out,
Hmm.
and I think obviously the social distancing. So it'll be different, but it'll be secure and safe. I think we're doing a good job to make sure people feel really comfortable in the event they don't want to vote absentee, or they decide, you know what, I voted absentee, but I want to go to the polls, or I didn't send in my absentee ballot, so I want to go to the polls. To know that we're all working collaboratively to make sure that everyone's safe, including the poll workers. We have a lot of folks that are out there that they have underlying health issues, so we want to make sure that everyone is safe.
Excellent, excellent. So again, thank you for everything that you're doing. As we close out, I just want to hear from you as a city town clerk. Why is it that it's important that we get out and vote? Why must we vote?
I think it's very important that we get out and vote for two reasons. I mean, when you talk about Senator Senator Winfield, Rose DeLauro, these are, our representatives, Senator Martin Looney, Alphonse Palolo, the different legislative body that we have that's running. These individuals, besides the president uh, and the vice president and the ticket that you have going across, they represent our community. They represent our interests. We want to have people in office that we support and that they support our causes. Because if not, state election is every 2 years, and the president is every 4 years. So
Mhm,
if you don't vote and you complain,
mhm.
you really don't have much to say. Or if you decide, well, you know what, I decided to sit this one out, whatever consequences and decisions that are made, and you weren't part of that process or try to change that process, it affects us.
Yes, yes, it affects us. Excellent. Thank you so much for coming here. Thank you for, I know you're super busy. Thank you for all the work you're doing. Thank you for
Anything
sleeping.
to do,
Sleeping early.
anything to do.
Thank you. Thank you
All
for
right.
keeping us safe as well with all the COVID guidelines as we go out and register early in the morning. Thank you for handling all of those absentee ballots. So we appreciate all the work that you do, Michael. Thank you so much.
And just one more note, I want to let folks know they have their absentee, and they haven't they should mail it. They can put it in one of the drop boxes in front of 200 Orange Street. And we're accepting absentees up until tomorrow, 8 p.m. in the drop boxes, so they can drop them off there. And any questions, they can call our hotline, 203-946-6400. Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you so much, Michael. And again, he's talking from local, and this also you could check your local city clerk's office as well with the absentee ballots. Thank you so much, Michael. You have
Take
a
care.
blessing. Thank you for
All
coming
right,
in.
bye.
All right, bye bye. All right. So I am going to. All right. So thank you very much for that good information. And we have some more guests up here. I'm gonna bring on the screen. We have Senator Gary Winfield. We also have Representative Robin Porter here, and I believe Representative Anthony Nolan is here. Am I saying I've got yes? All right. So let's bring them on and let's have a conversation. Let's have a good old conversation about what is at stake right here with this election. So, Robin, can you say hello? And Anthony, can you say hello? And Gary, you're all on. We're all on. Yes, there we are.
All right.
All right, good. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. I know you're very busy, and we are having a conversation today about what is at stake in America. I don't know if you got a chance to see the video that I did on Facebook Live yesterday, but there was a video that I did on Facebook Live, and my husband and I, by mistake, was in the middle of a Trump rally. We saw some stuff and we heard some stuff that we weren't too happy about. And so we wanted to make sure. And then I got on the phone and I called Robin, my good friend Robin, and I was like, listen, we knew there's something we need to do. And I talked to Jeanette Sykes, and we're like, we got to do something. And then your name came up, Anthony, of course. Gary's name came up, and the heavy hitters and that are on the front line doing things in the front as well as the back. So I want to talk a little bit, and we also have Rosa DeLauro coming on as well. So when Rosa comes on, we will have her join. But while we're waiting for her to come on, I want to talk about this hot topic. So there's so much going on, and even with that video, right? So I posted the video because I was surprised, and people were like, I was surprised that in New Haven, Connecticut, my hometown, that there was a Trump rally. I was floored, like my mouth was open. I was like, are you kidding me? Like I've never seen this before in my life. Like we are a blue state. Where did this red stuff come from, right? Where did this come from? And what is going on that this is like, what's going on? I'm gonna just say what is going on that this is okay, or is it okay that this is happening in a state that predominantly has been a blue state, but we have a lot of this rally going on and very heavy, heated conversations that were going on there. There were visuals of a flag with Trump on it holding guns, and it was very different. I'm just gonna just throw it out to the floor. What is going on? What do you think is why does this seem like it's picking up right now? Some people said it's been here for a while, but to me it seems like it's picking up. I don't know. You guys tell me what you're thinking.
I think the freedoms are starting to come out that people think they have, to show their colors. You know, Trump has given people the authority to step out and act out. The ways that they're complaining that some of our folks come out to fight against the injustices that we have, they're trying to act like that this is a time for them to be able to do it too, but not have anything to do it. So they're feeling that freedom, to come out and show what's always been here, just how they have the opportunity to do it because whatever's out there mouth.
Mhm. Mhm. I don't know why I don't hear you, Gary.
Muted.
No, unmute yourself. I know we talked earlier. Can't hear you. So maybe out and then because we for your connection because I gotta hear what you're saying. So so that is a that's I thank you for sharing that thought process. The other thing that I got a lot of feedback on that video. They were saying some people were saying, why are you making it seem like it's a white thing and a black thing? This is a political thing, and it's okay to have these rallies and these demonstrations, which I agree that this is an election time, right? And this is what's happening. But my concern is that with the climate of what's going on in the world, we could talk about Breonna Taylor, we could talk about police and police brutality, we could talk about those type of things because of that, and it's been um, in the media mixed messaging. If Trump is for it, if he's not for it, there's been a lot of mixed messaging, and I think that during this time, I'll let you chime in on it. During this time of this election, we have a lot at stake. Like there's a lot that is at stake. What would you say are the most important things, or should we, or or do you think it's just the hype, or do you think like these are the most important things that we need to get on or be cognizant of?
Well, I mean, we definitely need, black people to come out, make sure that we show where the power is in our state, um, because that's what we don't show when we lack coming out to vote. So this is why this election is so important, especially in our local elections, where we can grab hold of uh, the seats we need to make sure that we have a controlling interest in the things that we need to make sure that uh, people of color are taken care of when it comes to legislation, when it comes to making sure that the inequalities and the disparities are um, taken care of, because it's not, you know, um, we had a great victory this year. Um, you know, Winfield put in a lot, and Robin put in a lot into that police accountability bill. But it definitely can't stop there. There's just so much more things out there that we need to fix,
Mm-hmm.
like our education system, our health system. Those are things that are important to be next.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that is why it's so important for people to come out and vote, because that is the only way that we're going to be able to fix those things when we get enough people to come out and vote to help
Mm-hmm.
us get in the seats that we need to stay in so that we make sure that we make those changes.
Excellent. And that's a good point. So I want to go into the police accountability bill, and I'm going to turn it over to Gary to give us more information about that. How did he come up with the police accountability bill? Um, and I want to really hear about that. Um, about how you came up with it and just a little bit about it, and then we're going to go into a little bit more detail on it. Gary.
So tell me you can hear me, please.
I can hear you. You're fine.
So let me answer that question. The police accountability bill comes out of a lot of things. It comes out of work that's been going on for a very long time. I did a bill several years ago about police when they arrest people, custodial arrest. There was a bill about police lineups. There was a bill about fixing the racial profiling law we have. And then in 2015, we had the first of what was police accountability bill in the vein of the 2020 bill, a multi-section bill dealing with various aspects of policing. That was the bill that introduced the body cameras in the first place. That bill introduced the concept that when a police officer was under investigation, if they quit and tried to go to another outfit, we wouldn't allow them to do it, and several other things.
So wait a minute. You said the body camera. So if they tried to go to another outfit, a police.
So we introduced body cameras, and we had a program where we would give departments the money for the body cameras.
Okay.
We tried to do, because it wasn't mandatory, we tried to say, okay, if you come in initially, you get 100%. If you come in at a certain point later, you get 75%. If you come in at another point, you get 50%, and it dwindles off, right? The other point I was making was that what happens sometimes is when police are under investigation, they'll go to another police outfit, another department. And so we said, if you're in the middle of the investigation and you leave, that you cannot be hired. And if a department knows, they have to report that. We also had a part of the bill that dealt with the racial makeup of departments and several other pieces. So that was the first bill in that type of multi-section bill. We came back in 2017 and tried it again, but we weren't successful. We came back last year in 2019, particularly after the interaction with police and people here in New Haven, the Hamden police, and the Yale police incident, and the incident in Wethersfield, and passed another piece of police accountability. And then we came to this summer, and everybody knows what happened in this country. We had George Floyd, and we had Breonna Taylor, and you could go on and on with the list of names. And so hold on, somebody's leaving. And so what we did was we listened to what we were hearing from people in the streets of Connecticut and the country. We listened to what we heard there. We took stuff that we've been working on. We talked to police officers who actually understand that we need police reform. And we tried to make the most comprehensive bill that we could. And we recognized as well that not much was actually happening in the country.
So we hold it right there, because I want to come back to that. That's a powerful, powerful bill. And I have Rosa DeLauro in, so she's going to stop in. So I'm going to hold that conversation, and we are going to bring in Rosa DeLauro. Hello. You got to unmute.
Oh my God. I'm unmuted. Yay. Okay. There we go. Thank you.
How are you?
I'm well. Very, very well. I'm good. It's been a busy time, but good. I feel good about where we're going and what we're doing. And, thank you guys for, hosting this effort and important discussions. Very important discussions.
Yeah, very important discussions, important times. I'm so grateful that you took time out of your busy schedule to jump on this interview with me, Rosa. I truly appreciate it. I love you. I just want to say that. And listen, my office is plastered with awards and citations that have your signature on it. I thank you for recognizing people in the community. As busy as you are, I know you work at your U.S. representative. You are a powerhouse. You are passionate about what you've done. And I wanted, for those of you who are watching, I just wanted to share a little bit. Like, Rosa, how long have you been in politics?
I've been in office. This will be, if I win this election, which I anticipate doing tomorrow, it will be my 16th term.
16th term. Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So with your experience, and you've worked with the different presidents, and how many presidents have you worked with?
Well, when I was first elected, it was George W. Bush,
Okay.
and then there was Bill Clinton.
Okay.
And then we did, then with Barack,
Mhm.
and now I don't even want to mention his name. It really is. He is an abomination. But it has been, look, I will tell you that more opportunities for addressing important issues with George W. Bush, obviously with Bill Clinton and Barack Obama, where we share all of the same values and direction and where we need to go, and with Joe Biden as the vice president there, and then there is. I'll speak for me personally. I haven't met with, nor have I desired to meet with, though I was interested in working on bills like infrastructure, which the president said he was interested in, but never materialized. It's about jobs. I met with Ivanka Trump to talk about paid family and medical leave in hopes that they wanted to move in that direction for people, but no, they didn't. So I just, and the more I've seen of them, the more I don't believe that they share our values, that they share our concerns, or are they there? So I just saw Gary on. I don't know if Johanna is on. Robin is on. These are people who know why they've come to serve. It is always about what does the office allow us to do to help people have a better chance at a better life. That's what these jobs are about. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then, we were talking a little bit, and we're gonna go back into the conversation, but we were talking a little bit what's at stake with this election. You know, there's what would you say are the top things that are at stake at this for this election?
Sure. Well, first of all, let me just say, I think what this virus has uncovered, clearly, we have a health crisis and an economic crisis. However, I think it has shown a light on the health disparities, race disparities, the economic race disparities, the social justice disparities. And while those things existed before the pandemic, I think that now is the stark reality. So we have to address and Gary heard me say this, that you have to address the virus and the health pieces, but we have to go after the virus of injustice. So, and that I think is at the top of our agenda. I also think that our democracy is on the line. That what we stand for as the values that you share, that it's hard work, faith, responsibility, it's family, it's all of those issues that are critically important. I think the rule of law, moving this woman to the Supreme Court, and I don't question her qualifications, don't misunderstand me, but she's been only put there to overturn the Affordable Care Act. She's been put there to overturn Roe v. Wade, and he is going to claim that the election was rigged, and he's going to try to get it thrown into the Supreme Court so that can be overruled. The whole issue of freedom of speech. If you disagree with him, he calls you names or you are fired. Our sacred right to vote is threatened. And, I served with someone that you all love and that I love because I worked with him and he came to New Haven when I asked him to come, and that was John Lewis. John Lewis, God, what he sacrificed for the right to vote, and what he was willing to do. And you know what he told us all the time? Get into good trouble. And getting into good trouble is a good thing, which is what we need to do. And I worry about, I heard you and Gary talking about the state bill on policing. And I would just say this, at the federal level, we passed the Justice in Policing Act. which I was a strong supporter of. And really, that is about ending racial and religious profiling, banning chokeholds and no-knock warrants, which was the case with Breonna Taylor. You hold police accountable in court. You investigate police misconduct. And you get communities to be engaged and involved in looking at public safety and what that should be. So it is really trying to change the culture of law enforcement. So, and making lynching a federal crime. I mean, so that was overwhelming. My colleague Karen Bass, who chairs the Congressional Black Caucus, was, and she was also considered as a vice presidential nominee. She's wonderful and enormously qualified, as is Kamala Harris. But so we're working together, state and federal government, to try to address some of these issues.
Yeah, so just you mentioned Breonna Taylor, and I read a tweet that you did about how the Senate must pass the Justice and Policing Act, and I'm glad that you talked about that. That is very, very important to be able to have what happened to Brianna. She was, she's home, she's in her own home, she's sleeping, and to be killed and justice still not be had.
That's right. Yeah. And that's what I say. It was a no-knock warrant. That that's how they got into the apartment. There was a suspicion. There was nothing found to support this. You have to think of the Justice and Policing Act, and you think about Breonna Taylor. And I was proud to stand with our leadership in the House and in the Senate. And I'm an original co-sponsor of the legislation, but we passed it in the House and we can't get it passed in the Senate. But I would just say this to you, which is what is so important about tomorrow. Yeah. So much is on the line tomorrow. And I believe we will increase our numbers in the House. I believe we will take back the Senate. And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are going to be president and vice president, which means then we have a path to be able to pass legislation that affects both health and economics and social justice for people. And that's why it's critical. People need to be voting tomorrow like they have never voted before. We need a landslide victory. Because we know this president is going to challenge it, but we have to mitigate against him, saying that it was such a close election that he wants to throw out the results.
And you think he's going to do that? He wants to throw
I think he's going to. We're going to. I think he's going to sue.
Sue?
Wow. Yeah, I do. I think he has said he's calling in his lawyers. I think they're going to look for any excuse to say that this election was rigged, it's fraud, and that's why he lost the election. And that's why I say, let's overwhelm him. Let's overwhelm him with a vote that's coming out. And I believe people are there, by the way. I think there's so much energy in this country, on this issue. So, we will see. And we need the other thing about it is that we need to defeat this Washington leadership, because who do they care about, my dear? They care about the corporations. They care about the richest people in this country. They're looking at businesses that outsource our jobs or overseas. It's working families. It's the vulnerable who need a break. And that's what's important. And I believe that's where Joe Biden is. And that's what he and Kamala Harris are all about. You need a break. You need people to say, if you're going to deal with tax cuts, you got to cut taxes for working families, for middle class families. And I'm all over something that's called a child tax credit, to put money in people's pocket. Child tax credit is the biggest expenditure we have today for kids. 1/3 of children today are left out of the child tax credit, and they're mostly Black and brown kids because their families make too little money. And if we need to expand it and increase it, and if we did that, we would lift over 1/2 of African American children out of poverty in this country. That's the kind of thing we ought to be doing.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. 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 We have a lot. We have a lot at stake. And we're blessed, and I'm happy to have you there, being our voices where we can't have those conversations. So we thank you so much for
Thank
all
you.
the work that you have done over the years. And you can share
Let
whatever.
me just say this to you, and I'll wind up.
Mhm.
What you are doing here tonight is so critically important because it is a dialogue. If we are not talking to one another, we've got those who would step in to try to pull us apart, to divide us. Our strength is in our diversity. Our power is in our unity.
Yes.
So thank you. Thank you. I love you guys. Take care. Vote, vote, vote.
Yes.
Take care. Good night. Good night.
Thank you, Rosa. We appreciate you, and we're gonna make sure we go out and vote tomorrow.
You're here. Take
Uh,
care.
okay, take care. Bye bye. All right. So let's get back, Gary and Anthony, and bring you back. All right. So Gary, you could either pick up where you left off at, piggyback on what Rosa said, wherever you want to take it, whatever, wherever you want to go with that one.
Yeah, just for time's sake, right? I don't want to go into every detail on the bill. The point is that there are a couple of things I think people should know, and one of the things is that none of these things are easy to do, even in what we call a blue state, right? I wish people would stop looking at the fact that Connecticut is dominated by Democrats and thinking that means anything necessarily, because the only thing it means is you have Democrats, but Democrats come in a lot of different flavors, if you will. And so that doesn't mean that you're going to be able to do anything. There are other states that are considered states where you should be able to pass all kinds of policy, and they haven't. I got a call from people out in California after we did the police accountability bill, and they were like, "How the hell did you pull that off?" Right? We think of California as a place where you can get a lot of things done. So we're still in conversation. I think people have to actually invest in understanding how this process works. And a lot of times we're very busy and we don't have the time to do that, and so we use shortcuts, right? But those shortcuts don't really tell us everything that's happening. I wasn't surprised by the fact that you had those Trumpers down the other day.
No.
It didn't surprise me at all, because first of all, when you look at them, most of those people aren't from New Haven. They're traveling around and they're doing what they're doing because the possibility exists that Donald Trump will not be in office, and the things they've been fighting for are falling apart, and they want to make sure that they happen, and they're concerned and fearful and all of that. That's not what I'm worried about. What I'm worried about is what the people who agree with me are doing, and whether or not they're going to go down and vote. And more than that, I'm worried about what happens on November 4th, 5th, 6th, and going forward, right? Because a lot of people vote and they think they just hired some person who is going to go there and do all the good things they want. And then they're often stunned when those people don't do those things. Well, one, there are a lot of people who are asking for things. And many of those things are good, but they may not be the good thing that you want. So you have to invest the time to speak and to say what you need and what you want. And I think too often we don't realize that. And also, there are reasons why the thing that you want to have happen don't occur. It doesn't mean you weren't moving in that direction. And if all you see is that it didn't occur, you may become frustrated when the system was actually moving in the direction you want, and you may actually be able to be misled about what people are doing inside of the system. And so you have to invest more time than what happens in election time. But to talk about tomorrow,
Yeah, let's talk about tomorrow.
because tomorrow,
Yeah.
I think that people have to recognize that there aren't all the choices you would like on the ballot. And the choices you have on the ballot are the choices you have. And you need to be invested in making a choice, because if you don't make a choice, someone else is making that choice for you. And it is not that these people are going to get it right on every issue that you have. It is who best approximates what it is that you want. And the work you do in the interim has impact. And I want to say one of the reasons why these elections are important. If you think about the president, and the president's important, right? The right wing spent 40 years, 4 decades working on making sure they had the president that they wanted so they could do things with the federal courts and the Supreme Court. That was a plan for a long time. But also, oftentimes, the people who we see in Washington have come up through the system, right? They're people who may have started at your local level or who were at the state level. And so when you only think about the president, you don't invest time to figure out who those people are and those other parts of the system, then you often will say, well, where did this person come from? Who are these people? But you could have stopped that person a long time ago. And I'll give you a very local way of thinking of this. There was a guy named Joe Lieberman who started at the extreme local level, right? He was on our board of alders. He was in our state house. He was our senator, and he actually ran for vice president and could have been the vice president. Whether you agree with Joe or not is not the point. The point is, if you simply look at what's happening with the presidency, you may have missed people along the way. And so we have to, when this election is over, think about how do we invest, given the limited time that we have, how do we invest ourselves such that we understand what's happening?
Excellent, excellent. Anthony, what did you have anything to chime in on why tomorrow is very, very important? Why we must get out and vote? What's at stake?
Well, it's not only tomorrow; it's the days that come
And
after
the
tomorrow.
days.
Also, that's what's actually more important because once people choose, it's going to be in those spots. God willing, and it will be us. Um, we need them to stay with us, to stick with us, because it's their help that allows us to get to where we need to be when we're making the decisions that we need to make up in the legislation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we need them to still come out when we're up there, to let those up there also see the amount of people that want to see the changes that we're up there to make. We can't make those changes always without the show of support from the people that we're up there for. It is going to be very important for not only tomorrow, but the days after tomorrow. And if you go back to the little thing that you saw at IKEA, you know, that's been going on for a long time, uh, and they just happen to come out now. Um, it's always been there. It's always been something that they chose to do undercover because once black folk came out and started protesting for the injustices and the brutalities and the murder from uh, police, um, we have uh, we have a real reason to be out there fighting for the things that we need to change the narrative for what's happening to us. They're just looking for something to come out there and debate us on or debate with us. It's almost like uh, Black Lives Matter and them saying that Blue Lives Matter. You know, it's only something for them to return an action for the unjust and misuse that the system has for us, um, black. And this is one of the ways that they're trying to just keep it running.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Roberta,
Yeah.
I don't know if we have enough time. I don't know what the time.
You can go ahead. We got a few minutes. Go for it.
I wanted to say something about the undercover thing that Anthony just said, uh,
Mm-hmm.
because I think we need to drive around our own state. Because you drive around to certain parts of the state, it's never been undercover. So I think,
Anthony fixed himself up like, oh, he talking now.
I
No,
mean,
that's the truth. It's the
it,
truth. We just don't travel like he's saying.
yeah, I mean, and that is real. I also want to say about the importance of the vote, right? So we were focused on the presidency, and then we started talking about the state level. Some, and look, I know a lot of people know me, and a lot of people know Robin, and people know Anthony all over the place. If you like the work that Robin does, she is fears she is doing the work that you want her to do, but she can't get it done if she didn't have allies in the place, right? So if people are like, well, I'm just going to focus on the president and I'm not worried about the state house. Well, maybe Robin can get it done, but if she doesn't have allies, she can't get it done. And so we can be invested in making sure she has the people there to vote with her. And I also just want to just break this down for people who just still don't get it after all that. Look, I've known some people who do some things they're not supposed to do. Some people who steal stuff. None of those people are dumb enough to steal something that's not of value. We're talking about people with educations from the Ivy Leagues. We're talking about people with suits that cost enough that the buttons on the sleeves unbutton, right? These people aren't fools, and they are out there working to steal elections. As we speak, they're working to steal elections. So if you think the election isn't valuable, just look at the fact that they're trying to steal these elections, and look at who's trying to steal elections. That should tell you that they're worth something.
That's a powerful point. Powerful, powerful. Wow. Um, as we close up, I mean, is there anything else that you think that you would like to share with the listeners? What's of importance? Is there a topic? Is there anything that you want to share as we close up, and the important work that you do, the things that you see that we may not see? But the floor is definitely both of yours as we close it up.
I mean, I would just say when it comes to all of this stuff, no matter how long you've been involved, just question what you know and do some research. And I would also say to you, Roberta, if you want, I think we need to help people to be able to understand. And if you want to do more of these, just in the in between time, I am happy to do it, because some of the stuff that I hear, I'm like, that's why we lose, right? And I think it's important for people. They don't have to like us. They don't have to agree with us. But I do think they need to have all of the information in order to make a decision, because you should. It should not be so easy to trick people into voting against their interests. So for me, it's not about a particular issue. The issue for me is justice, right? So how that applies to different things is a question that we'll solve later. But what is important is that the people understand and can make a decision from a place of knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably number one right there. Make that you know who you're voting for. Make sure that the person that you're voting for has a plan and an agenda to try and change some of the things that you're looking to have changed. Because you just vote you just vote for someone just because uh, you're not doing your vote that we've fought so hard for any justice. So make sure that you know who you're voting for, got the agenda that you're looking for. Don't just vote just because the person next door says, "Hey, vote for this person. They're the coolest in the world." No, make sure that person is willing to fight for working people. Make sure that person is willing to fight for injustices and the inequalities that we know there are, and the disparities, and it goes all the way to the problems we have with police. And uh, I hate to say that as a police officer, but we have a lot of problems with police, and it needs to be fixed.
And I'm glad that you said that. I believe you're a police officer, you're a pastor, and you're a representative. Do I have all three titles right?
A deacon,
A deacon. Sorry,
not a
sorry.
pastor yet. I'm
Okay,
not a pastor
I'm putting
yet.
that title on you. I'm giving you a whole flock. Okay, so what are your titles? Because I heard one. What are the titles?
Deacon and a police officer and a state representative.
State rep. Wow. Awesome. 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 And so I know it's after 9, but because you're a police officer, I have to ask this question. This is a burning question, a personal question that I have. And hopefully if you don't want to answer it, you can decline. But here's my question: is that I think we can all agree that all cops are not bad cops. I think we can
Correct.
all agree on that. There are, but there are some cops that really made it really bad. I remember the analogy: bad apple spoils the bunch, right? So, how do you think we navigate, or how has it? There's a couple questions. One, how do we navigate that problem? Because you're in the inside. Um, And I know we have some bills that are on proposed and some that passed. But how from the inside do we navigate that? And how was it for you as a police officer of color in the inside, in the middle of everything that was going on with racial disparity, with all of the killings, and how was it for you? So those are two burning questions, and I just had to ask them because you are a police officer.
Well, there's as far as policing has to change. First of all, I mean, we keep saying that things have to be looked at and how things have to be redeveloped, and um, but for years it has not been changed. Um, the biggest thing I see us needing to do is change that policing mentality to a peace mentality,
Mm,
uh, where we aren't so in a hurry to incarcerate people for the smaller crimes when we can give them tickets or summonses to court instead of giving them a jail history. Um, you know, people are going to have to get arrested for some of the crimes that we do. You understand? But we need to change the justice system. We need to change how we um, penalize people and how we fail to teach people how to rebuild themselves once they get out of it. That's
mm,
the problem we're running. Um, as far as being a police officer and being in the mix, it is challenging, very challenging, um, especially when your own union don't support you. Uh, I love the unions. My union doesn't do much uh, but cause trouble uh, to me. And it's not the membership; it's the leadership, and that's where a lot of the corrective measures have to come from. The leadership, uh, because sometimes the leadership is the ones who stirs up the patrol persons and everybody under them, and that's where all the grief comes because they listen to the leadership. And when you hear people saying that police are doing less, that's because the leadership tells them to do less. Usually, it's not
mhm,
their well, we're not going to do anything because we don't want to. We don't want to get in trouble. Well, you can't get in trouble unless you do something wrong.
mhm, mhm,
That's the game. And I love my job. I love some of the guys I work with. But there's a few in there they cause trouble.
mhm. Yeah,
You know,
thank you for sharing that. Like one of my best friends, Tanya, she's out of Philadelphia. She also is a police officer. I have family members that are police officers, and that's really a difficult time for them, and caught up in the mix of the George Floyd issues, the Breonna Taylor issues, and them being of color. Um, do you find that as a police officer that being of color at this point, did it change the dynamics of you policing with George Floyd and Breonna, or is everything basically the same? Or
you mean for me individually?
yeah, I would say, yeah, I know you can't speak for everyone, but
Um, for me individually, it doesn't change what I do because I always have been the same way.
mhm.
I'm more of the peace officer type
Okay,
officer.
good.
I'm
Yeah.
not out there trying to put people in jail unless you really do something really terrible that you need to go to jail for.
Mhm.
Um, I've probably got some of the least arrests in the department because I'm into more of educating people in regards to some of the things that they do wrong versus arresting them.
Mhm.
But I do arrest because there's things people have to be arrested for. I'm not out there hiding in bushes trying to be a super cop type. You know, uh, you know, it, it has a lot. We just have to change how policing was brought into existence because people still use it uh, the same way that they did when it was originally founded.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But I could, so you are kind of find yourself doing more of a balance and of being more compassionate and doing more teaching now than before. You've always done like that.
Well, for me, it's been the same. I mean, you see people now that the George Floyd incident happened and other incidents. Now that people are watching police much closer,
Mm-hmm.
police have stopped working,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
which which is hurtful to our communities, um, and especially in the community where myself, Gary, and Rob are, is because police felt that the police accountability bill was going to hurt them. Um, they're under a false narrative when it comes to that.
Mm.
And I really believe that our law enforcement really needs to wake up when it comes to that, because if you are doing your job like you should do it, um, and the excuse was more frivolous lawsuits. There's always going to be frivolous lawsuits. Someone's always got to want to sue somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So using that as an excuse not to do work, to me, it's just not how it should go.
Mm-hmm. So
If leadership doesn't change that, then leadership's going to have a problem.
yes, and thank you for the trinity of hats that you wear and how you serve. I thank you very much for your time and sharing and being open with me and answering the questions that I had, my burning desire. So I thank you for that, Anthony. Gary, last comment is from you. Whatever you have as we close out.
I mean, I think the comment of the day is the same one that Rosa had, and that's vote, vote, vote. Everybody go vote. Make sure you don't show up at 7:50. Right? We've seen what happens when people do that. Get out there as early as you can, vote, and then it is, it's above us at that point, right?
Mhm.
But the important thing is that you participate, and then do not come back in 2024. Come right back, get involved, figure out how you can be a part of actually making things happen between now and 2024.
Excellent. All right. Thank you both. Thank you all for your time. We must get out to vote. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful day. I know tomorrow is a busy day for many of us. I'm getting up early in the morning. I'm going at 6 a.m., not 6 p.m., but 6 a.m. with my son.
Yeah.
And we will be voting. And then I'm going with my daughter and then my other son, and we're making a family day out of voting early in the morning. So, yeah, so I'm excited. Thank you again for your time. I appreciate it. And thank you so much for your service for all of these years. All
Thank
right. You're welcome. Have a great one. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you,
Thank
Gary.
you.
All right. And to Robin, she was having technical difficulties, so she wasn't able to get on. She was giving some good information. So, Robin, we thank you so much for helping to pull this together as well. Sorry you weren't able to get on today. All right, everyone. So there you have it. We had some guests on today that are in the trenches. It's important, as they said, it's important that you know who you are voting for and that their agenda matches your agenda. Tomorrow is a very important day, and as Senator said and the rep said, the days after also are equally as important. What we do after this election. We also had on a registrar of voters on. If you didn't register yet, it is okay. You still may be able to register same day registration as you can vote. Go to your registrar's office in your local community, and they should have same day registration policies and procedures. I know that they have them throughout this country. Do not sit home tomorrow. We must get out and vote. There's so much that's laying in the balance right now. Our children's future is laying in the balance right now. Our near future is laying in the balance right now. Healthcare is laying in the balance right now. In the midst of a pandemic, healthcare is laying in the balance right now. This is a critical time in our country. We must pull together. We must go out and vote. Now, as I close out, I want to speak specifically to the people of color, our ancestors. understood how powerful and how meaningful the right to vote is. They understood the government and how the vote was so powerful to invoke change. They believed in it so much that they gave their life for it. They died for it. They were killed for the right to vote. They were slaughtered for the right to vote. But they gave their life so that you and I will not have the same challenges that they did. We wouldn't have to fight the same fight that they did for the right to vote. If you are of color, remember your history. Remember the price that was paid for you to get up and cast a vote, for you to get up and put your ballot in. Remember the price that was paid. You should not be comfortable sitting in the bed on tomorrow. And neither should you be comfortable allowing your children over the age of 18 to sit in the bed tomorrow. Tomorrow is a day of change. Use it as a day where we use it as a family day, as I am, a day of bonding with my children today, tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, we're going to go out early and we're going to vote together. Voting is important. We must vote, vote, and vote. Thank you, everyone, for coming on today. Hopefully, you gained some knowledge. And we also want to thank U.S. Representative Rosa DeLauro, um, for coming in and sharing her knowledge and wisdom with us of what she sees at the White House. At the White House, hands on dealing with presidents. So, I thank her for everything that she's doing as well. Now, most of all, I want to thank you for coming today. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful, blessed day. And remember, we got to make sure we go out and vote. Bye, guys. Have a blessed one.